Who would you like to see next as a permanent manager?
Do you know what? Might get a bit of thingy for this, but I'd love to have Ange back. I would. I miss Ange Ball. Absolutely love to have Ange back.
The Bodo Glimt manager, he looks good. Or the old Borussia Dortmund manager. I think he's really good, but just someone fresh.
I'm hoping maybe Craig Bellamy for me. I think it'll be difficult to bring him in because I think that if they qualify for the championships in America, I think it'll be difficult. But if they don't qualify, then I think it's a possibility, and I think it'll appease the fans as well because he played for Celtic as well. And
if I could, Martin O'Neill, or if I think everyone would agree with me, Ange Postecoglou.
Maybe Ange Postecoglou or Marco Rose for the German manager. I'd like to see someday now, probably. That's what I would like to see.
Celtic fans there, Keith, right? If it's okay, I'll run through a few of these comments. First of all, Rangers Easy OK says, is his actual name Henrik? No way, man. He actually is called Henrik.
Yeah, we do have genuinely a Swedish guy called Henrik who's our producer.
We'll get him on one week. Right, let me read a few of these out. Tom says, only thing Dermot missed was calling Rodgers a traitor and guilty of treason. Baza says, any manager will do well to get performances out of their team right now. They are shocking. Your loyal Muppet says, Martin's too old and out of touch to manage Celtic. Their club is in tatters, and after his comments on Rangers, I wonder what pressure he'll be under if we beat them in the semis. David says, Kennedy was well paid for doing his job. I've had 60 years of putting money into this club. Thank you, and move on. It's life, guys. Paul Brady says, if Dermot Desmond said is true, why wasn't Rodgers sacked? And this last one from Rangers is okay. The statement was absolutely wild. I've never seen anything like that from any club in Europe in my lifetime. And bear in mind, we used to be called Statement FC. And then the only other comments, Keith, that are coming in are people, as you saw in the clip there, asking about the next manager. I mean, Craig is one of many people saying someone contact Ange to find out if he's interested. And obviously attention now turns to who will be the long-term successor. I know you hate odds, but there's the latest odds. Kieran McKenna is actually favourite as it stands right now.
Yeah, and there might be something in that. I think there's an obvious link there. I think that Dermot Desmond might be able to influence that one. I think that Martin O'Neill's comments were about a younger coach. Kieran McKenna's 39. So that he would certainly fit the kind of profile. Ange, someone that's very, very close to Ange in Australia told me a long time ago that one thing Ange never does is he never goes back. And I think that was at a time where there was previous speculation regards a move to Celtic, a return. And this guy knows him inside out. He says he would be astonished because that's just a rule that Ange has got. Now, rules are there to be broken and changed and manipulated, and off the back of what's happened at Spurs and Nottingham Forest, if he's feeling a bit bruised and he wants a bit of love again, he could certainly find it in Glasgow. But that would require a major sort of a shift in his thought pattern and how he sees his career going. Now, again, the consecutive bumps at Spurs and Nottingham Forest may have forced that into a sort of rethink. But I think that would be a long shot, plus the fact the sort of wages been earned down there. He would be in the longer shot, although I can see why it makes perfect sense. Kieran McKenna, on the other hand, it would be somebody new. I don't know. Do you know what? He worked miracles to take Ipswich up through the divisions, get them into the Premier League, and I think that has to be, centrally considered. But I do come back to the fact I've sat here and I've slaughtered Rangers for saying that Russell Martin's CV was good enough to entitle him entry level into the negotiations for the Rangers job on the back of being relegated from the Premier League. Now, Kieran McKenna and Russell Martin are two very different animals with different CVs, and Kieran McKenna, come up through, as I said, I think a couple of promotions to get them there and did a better job in the Premier League than Russell Martin did. But I do feel as if we're in danger of moving into this parallel universe whereby that's okay now. That's seen as that could still be an exciting, you know, 5. Well, I was going to say 5 years ago, less than that. Would Rangers or Celtic look at guys that couldn't hack it, that got relegated from England's Premier League, and think, yeah, he's the guy for us?
No,
So that raises a question there.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I know that Martin O'Neill, and he's very clever in the way that he does it. No, it's absolutely not. This is just interim, and if we don't get the result, we could be out by Thursday, and that's that's disappointing for Sean. Which was interesting because that's disappointing for Sean because I think he thought we were going to be here for a month. So that seems to be him alluding to the most probable timeline. But who's to say? By the way, if Martin O'Neill was to go in, get an absolute bounce, the stadium's buzzing, they're all singing his name. And then he goes, I'm talking tomorrow night against Falkirk, gets 3 points. Hearts have got a perilous away trip to Paisley. Who knows how that one goes? Martin O'Neill then goes in against Danny Rowe at Hampden against Rangers. And can you imagine? He kind of puts him down. How the Celtic fans might respond to that, how the momentum might start to build. And at the end of Martin O'Neill's press conference today with the broadcast, he was asked a question about the final line in his autobiography, which is he finds he's got an addiction for football and he can't shake it. I wonder how that addiction, what a couple of results, a few results like that, what might do it feed that addiction, and to make him think, wow, is this where I'm supposed to be at this point in my life? I don't know. It's a long shot, but who knows?
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing with any certainty because this time, 24 hours ago, I'm sat here saying to you, there's no way that Brendan will quit.
That's Scottish football, isn't it? Some of the comments coming in. Green Machine says, dark horse for me is Alex Neil, wee Coatbridge lad and a big Celtic fan. Bluey, Kevin Muscat. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? John says Ange would have nothing to gain or learn by going back to Celtic. Dennis says, I said for months, Scott Brown, put money on him this morning at 25-1. Paul says he likes McKenna, no Ange return. And Craigie, I think jokingly, says McInnes. But it's going to be interesting, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Imagine
McInnes,
that'd be funny.
I think Paddy Power also put out a betting list for the runners and riders today, and it featured Steven Gerrard at 6-1.
At 6-1?
Yep, 6-1.
Bloody hell. Oh well. Well, look, we could talk.
Now, Paddy Power are experts in marketeering and that sort of stuff. But yeah, that was an easy headline to grab.
Well, they managed to get their name mentioned now on the best football show in Scotland.
There you go. What, Paddy?
That's it.
Free bet, please.
Mark is one of a few saying Nutson as well. John McGlynn is another one from Davy.